Alright, guys. I'm contemplating on doing this, but I figured, what the hell, right? It's time to stop and rank all the Friday the 13th films, including Never Hike Alone, but not including. Quit falling down, phone! Phone always falls down. Try to set this up, but it's not acting enough. Alright, trying to set up because I want to background. Alright, I took time yesterday and I wrote down what I thought of the Friday the 13th movie. Just kind of wrote down their names in order. I originally wrote down 13, but I forgot about Freddy vs. Jason. It's not part of this. I'm going to be reviewing it separately from both franchises. So it's not going to be a part of Friday the 13th. Not going to be part of Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm going to review it separately. I'm probably going to put it in the pile for Halloween. So at least I get one of those in the Halloween, horror month that I'm doing. So there's 12 movies in all. This is my first ranking, so I'll tell you my problems with the movie or my good parts of the movie. So starting off at number 12, bottom of the barrel is Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Or Jason Takes a Boat to Manhattan. The one thing that really frustrated me when I was watching it through this time, that really hadn't affected me before, once I thought about it, is called Jason Takes Manhattan. But he's on a boat for most of the runtime until like the last half hour of the movie. And even then, it's Vancouver, Canada. It's not really New York. They should have just made an entirely different movie and not based in Manhattan. If you can't do the movie in the location you're promising, don't do it. Just don't. Alright? Don't. Number 11 is Friday the 13th, Part 7, A New Blood. While I enjoyed this one better than Part 8, there are still a lot of problems. The Jason vs. Carrie aspect was good. The way that Kane Hodder looked as Jason was good. But the characters, besides Tina and Jason, were all terrible. And the continuity errors in the movie prevented me from enjoying the movie. And it's just an all-over mess. It's a decent film, but still, continuity errors everywhere. No. Number 10 is Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. Now, you may ask why this is so far up when people put it at the bottom or towards the bottom. Well, it is towards the bottom, is number 10. Because, while it's not Jason, like I said, the first time I watched this, I thought it was Jason. But it's not. But it still has that narrative, like it's a Friday the 13th movie, like it's Jason out there killing people, until the end reveal. If you've never seen it before, you're not gonna. I said this in my review. If you've never seen the movie before and you're watching this, there's no way. If it wasn't ruined for you, there's no way you're not gonna know. There's no way you're gonna know it's not Jason. I'm just saying. Other than that, I think it's a pretty decent film, but on the lower tier of the Friday the 13th franchise as it relates to the rest of the movies. Other than that, pretty good. Number 9 is Jason X. As one of the 3 New Line Cinema solo Friday the 13th movies. It's probably the worst of the 3. Yes, you got Jason in Space. You got Uber Jason, which I liked. But the trailers promised you Uber Jason. Like it's going to be the entire movie, and it's just the last part. And you get regular, crappy-looking Jason. I mean, it's a terrible look for Jason through most of the film until the Uber part happens. You had the Uber part promised to you in the trailer. Remember that in the trailer. I remember the trailer. They showed Uber Jason, and you were like, oh my god, this Jason super powerful. Even though I wasn't really into into horror movies at that point. Really, I had seen Child's Play, and Scream. Other than that, I wasn't really into horror at one point. It wasn't until my great grandmother passed away that I got her movies, and I started watching them. And I mean, I'm straight. Freddy vs. Jason, some of those that I got to enjoy and really enjoy horror. And this, he promised this big metal badass Jason. You don't even get him towards the end of the film. And then that was a letdown. So it's like, why do that? Just like with Jason Takes Manhattan, but at least this is a better film. At least it makes sense. Jason's in space. They're on a space station or a spaceship. It makes sense. They're not saying Jason takes a planet. Jason takes Earth in the future. But they're on a spaceship the whole time until they get Earth at the end. That happens, but it's not what they're promising. I'm just saying. Number 8 is Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. It's an enjoyable film. But again, those continuity errors. Jason is somehow chasing after Chris. And he looks like he does in this one, even though that's not what he looked like before. And Jason looks like he does in this one, and it's not what he looked like before. It's just continuity errors. That's what really bugs me about some movies. It's a decent film, don't get me wrong. Everything from this one on, I enjoy watching. I enjoy watching Jason X. So everything from 9 on, I really enjoy watching. But there's just continuity errors and problems throughout the series. Number 7 is Friday the 13th, 1980. Now, there are some people that hold this movie in high regard, but I don't think anyone ever puts it at the top of their list, or even in their top 5. Maybe. I'm not, but maybe you do. If you do, that's fine. But for me, when I watch a Friday the 13th movie, I want to see Jason Voorhees, right? This movie is decent, and when I first watched it, I was like, I don't care for this one. But over the years, as I've watched it, I've really learned to enjoy it. The characters are alright. The story is alright. The reveal of Mrs. Voorhees, it's a whodunit, but you never met her. So how are you supposed to try to figure it out? I like whodunits that leave you clues throughout the film. And so that sometimes I figure it out. I like that. You could never figure out it was her if you hadn't seen the movie. You haven't seen the movie, you might think it's Jason. But if you haven't seen the movie, we've seen the other ones. Who knows? Number 6 is Jason Goes to Hell. Now, some people think this movie is crap on top of crap, smothered in crap, with a glass of crap on the side. But for me, after 8 movies of Jason being at Camp Crystal Lake, hunting down kids and counselors, and even that whole New York thing is still kids on a boat before they get to New York. After 8 movies of the same thing over and over again, this was a decent change. It was a significant change. It was a good change. Have this Jason being on the cruise. Yes, the continuity errors, sure. But it was a first time director. It was a first time, movie with the studio. Give him a break. I like the storyline. Not so much the eating of Jason's heart, but it's I like the storyline, and I just think that it's a decent film. It's not a decent Friday the 13th film, it's a decent Jason film. And that's why it's number 6. Number 5 is Never Hike Alone. Now this is not canon, but it sort of is because it has Tommy Jarvis at the end. I like this, even though it's 53 minutes. Most of it is just Kyle walking through the woods. Sorry if you heard that. But then you get the Jason following him around. And you get the Tommy Jarvis stuff at the end. And it's all worth it. And I hope that Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, which is supposed to be a prequel, I hope that's just as good. And I hope the sequels we're going to try to make for this is good as well. Very good. Number 5. Number 4 is Friday the 13th Part 3. 2. I can't read. Number 4 is Friday the 13th Part 2. I already did 3. Part 2. This, like Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, all those I should just throw to the bottom of my list whenever I would rank it in my head or just kind of go over it in my head before I had the channel to do this. But just like with the first one, I like the other ones better. But just like with the first one, I learned to appreciate it. And Part 2 was really stood out for me. It's got the best final girl in the franchise in Ginny. It's got one of the best kills in the franchise with, what's his name, Mark, in the wheelchair. Gets the, going down the stairs. It's a really good film. Yes, the biggest question of the whole film is what happened to Paul. You never get that answered. Who knows? But it's still a decent film. Number 3 is Friday the 13th, 2009. Now this one, the only Friday the 13th movie to date that I've seen in the theater, because afterwards they never made any more. And I thought they could do more with a sequel, but they didn't. But I like it. I like how, and since I've seen the other ones now, when I first saw it, I hadn't seen much of the other ones, like 4, 6, Jason X, and others, but I hadn't seen much. But I appreciate that they tried to put 1, 2, 3, and 4 kind of together. In that kind of sense, you had the guy looking for his sibling, where in part 4 he was trying to avenge his sibling, but he's looking for his sibling. You have some characters, you know, you had the whole first 20 minutes to a half hour. It's just amazing, just killing everybody left and right. Very good. Very good. Number 3. Number 2 is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. I found myself being divided between this one and my number 1, but for me, I always say that Part 6 has my favorite Jason. And if you can say, oh, Ted White's the best, or Richard Brooker's the best, or Derek Mears is the best, or even, I named it all, or Kane Hodder, that was the other one. But for me, C.J. Graham has that, okay, it's the first showing of zombie Jason, like a true zombie Jason. And he brings that full zombiness to the role. Like, he's an undead, relentless zombie who killing people left and right. That first scene, when he first comes to life, he takes that metal post that was rammed inside him and rams it in the horse shack, right? That's what I mean. Brutal. Derek Mears is brutal, sure. Richard Brooker, yes. But just the way he does that, I always remember the first time I saw this movie, like the beginning of it when I was younger, maybe 13. That part stood out to me and scared the shit out of me, basically. He comes up, puts his mask back on. That's what stands out for my favorite Jason. And, Tom Matthews is the best Tommy Jarvis. You could argue Corey Feldman, sure, for the younger version. Yeah, Tom Shepard, no. I don't like the way he portrayed Tom Jarvis at all. But for Part 6's version, the way they wrote him, it was perfect. It's a shame they never brought him back for future installments except for Never Hike Alone. But that's not technically canon, part of the series. But I just think this was all over a good film. Yeah, no boobs and butt cheeks, but you didn't really need them. You didn't. I love the music of this one. I love just the overall campy feel of it. Some people say, oh, it's too campy. The music, no, I like the music. I like the campiness. I like the fact that they actually have a summer camp with kids. I mean, come on. 6 films in and you finally have a summer camp with kids. Oh, I can talk forever about this movie. But I gotta guess number 1. You haven't guessed it. Number 1 is Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Part 4. The characters, amazing. Ted White is Jason. Great. Not my favorite, but he's up there. The kills. Tom Savini, like the original. On par. Very good. The setting. Dark. Rainy. The way it should be. Like the way like all the first 4 are. The atmosphere, just everything, the dialogue, great. You get these characters, you're established with these characters, you get to know them, you get to care for them. So when they die, you're almost like, oh shit. Because, going into this, I didn't know many. I knew Corey Feldman, I knew Crispin Glover. Like, those are the 2 big stars I knew from this movie. And when Crispin Glover gets that corkscrew through his hand and meat cleaver through his face, I was like, just killed George McFly. Oh shit. Because I thought he's going to be one of the survivors, but he wasn't. Like, none of the kids in that house survived. You got you got the twins. You got, Lawrence Madison, who was actually stoned during his scene in the film. Everything about this film makes it the best film in the franchise, at least for me. You guys might not agree. Most people do agree. Let me know in the comments your ranking. You don't have to give me a reason or anything. Just rank them all. Let me know in the comments how you feel about my ranking. What's your ranking? Let me know in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, actually, before I continue on that, I should actually announce my next horror film series I'm doing. I want to get it done before October. So I'm going to try to binge watch these movies and get reviews out for like the rest of the week so I can get them done. And that is the Child's Play franchise. The remake comes out tomorrow. I'm going to go pick it up. And then I have all the other ones. Going to watch them. And then I'm going to review them and rank them before October so I can focus on my October movies that I'm doing, which I'm still trying to get some in the mail. And if I can't get them all by October, I'll start with some other ones, maybe the Universal Monsters or something. I want to wait Halloween till like the later half of the month, maybe when it's closer to Halloween-ish. But Child's Play is my next franchise. I'm going to review them, rank them for you guys. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, love, peace, and chicken grease.